matter.
I'm freaking out right now because I read that bodies float.
Julianne Moore and Sweeney together in a movie is more than enough to get people watching. And with Brad Ingelsby as the writer and Michael Pearce as the director, Echo Valley checked all the boxes. This slow-burn psychological thriller subverts all expectations, while being simply gripping enough aesthetically that you find yourself drawn to the mother-daughter dynamic portrayed on screen. However, by the time the movie ended, a lot of the audience wondered what actually happened in the final scene. If you too were wondering about that, no worries, I've got you. Come with us as we break down all the motivations and morally ambiguous choices that define the haunting ending of this movie. In case you haven't seen the movie, please consider this your spoiler warning. With that being said, let's get down to business. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Don't leave your bedroom till I come back.
What is Echo Valley really about? When you start watching the movie, it becomes evident soon enough that it is a crime thriller. But let's be real, nothing is as it seems on the surface, and this movie is no different. This movie is actually a tightly coiled story, with main themes of grief, guilt, and how far a parent will go to protect their child. You have addiction and unconditional love mixed together. Kate, played by Julianne Moore, is introduced to us gradually. She's seen tending her horses on a ranch in rural Pennsylvania, and dealing with the death of her wife Patty. The death was sudden and completely wrecked Kate, making it hard for her to maintain both her livelihood and emotional balance. And whatever stability she had managed to carve out for herself is immediately dismantled when her daughter Clare, played by Sweeney, shows up. The film plays with the tension of Kate's emotional isolation and desperation for a connection, and Clare's need for Kate. Clare needs Kate, but she's also the one who wounds Kate the most. Clare has a drug problem that's been going on for quite a while, and when she returns to Kate's life, she brings all that trauma, guilt, and manipulative impulses with her. The relationship between the mother and the daughter is a volatile mix, to say the least, and this becomes the film's core. There's a push and pull between protectiveness and survival, and the line between survival and forgiveness blurs completely. Michael Pearce and Brad Ingelsby masterfully craft the story with these two powerhouse actresses, creating scenes that are heavy with silence and gesture. The rural farm the whole movie is set in isn't just a location, it's almost like a pressure cooker of emotions. Every shot of the barn, every glance between the mother and daughter somehow adds more to the looming storm. By the end of the film, you start to question what justice and empathy mean to both of these characters. We get a mystery in this movie, and sure, solving it's fun, but the movie also wants us to feel the weight of the choices made by each character, feel their heartbreaks like they're our own, and have hope for the characters. Why was Clare covered in blood? The first time Clare shows up in Kate's barn, we already know that things are not going to look good from there. She claimed her boyfriend threw away her phone and that she was clean, but from her behavior and body language, it's clear that she was lying. Clare explained that she had thrown away Ryan's stuff, and now Ryan was after her because, amongst that stuff, she'd accidentally thrown away half a kilo of drugs, which Ryan either had to pay for or get back. Since Ryan couldn't come up with anything, Clare decided to ask Kate for money. Kate refused, and Clare threatened her with the dog, Cooper, the only company Kate had. Kate managed to protect the dog from Clare, but Clare threw a temper tantrum and left. Then out of nowhere, a few days later, Clare shows up at her doorstep again, and this time, it's more shocking than ever. She's soaked in blood, which Clare claimed was from Ryan. Clare stated that they went into the woods to camp out, hoping to hide out until the drug dealer, Jackie Lyman, would stop looking for them. But Ryan started getting mad, so she pushed him and then hit him with a rock, splitting his head open. Seeing her daughter in that state, Kate immediately went into crisis mode. She did everything she could to protect Clare, including getting rid of the body. However, as the movie progresses, we learn the bitter truth. Clare actually lied through her teeth. The body belongs to Craig Kaminsky, a regular drug user who overdosed. Clare knew that since her mom loved her so much, if she went to her, Kate would be able to help them out. And surprise, surprise, Kate actually did. She paid out to Jackie after dumping the body in Marsh Creek. And this whole reveal is done so brutally too. Right after Kate pays off Jackie, Clare leaves the house the next morning. Kate tracks her through her iPad, and surprise, Ryan and Clare are living together. And then, as if that isn't enough, Jackie shows up on the property, blackmailing Kate for more money, since he knows how she got framed. Kate even read the text Clare sent to her boyfriend, talking about her, and the realization that Clare manipulated Kate into doing her bidding is heartbreaking. From the first moment, Clare's vulnerability plays on Kate's grief and a need for connection. In their twisted emotional state, the blood on Clare's clothes did not sound alarm bells in Kate's mind. Instead, Kate took it as a sign, an unsaid emotional plea for rescue. She did everything right, and she did all of it from the deep-seated fear of losing another person and codependence, both of which Clare used to her advantage. Why did Kate choose to protect Clare? As a mother, Kate has an inherent protective nature toward Clare, but there's something a little wrong with their relationship. At one point, we see Kate reach out to her ex-husband for money to fix the barn roof. This is Clare's father, Richard Garrett, played by Kyle MacLachlan. From their brief conversation, it's evident that Kate always found it hard to say no to Clare, even after several counseling sessions. Her desperation to build a connection with Clare, something that is fruitful, is evident. Even when Kate and Clare argue about money the first time, we learn that Kate had emptied out her bank account for the sake of Clare and her rehab, even though Clare had repeatedly left rehab just to start using again. Despite the many betrayals she had suffered, Kate still held on to hope that one day she would get her baby girl back and things would be better. However, it's never as simple as that. So as someone who desperately wants Clare's approval and closeness, it makes complete sense why Kate did what she did. The moment she saw Clare at her doorstep, covered in blood, her protective instincts went through the roof, and she did something completely unhinged to save her. Instead of calling the police, Kate took care of the body, paid off the debt to Jackie, and even cooked up a believable story with Clare. This might look like altruism on the surface, but actually, it's a desperate response rooted in grief. With money being tight and losing Patty out of nowhere, Kate is broken. She wants to have some semblance of the family she has left, and doesn't want to risk losing Clare either. She protected Clare from the law, yes, but she also protected herself from abandonment and another devastating loss. That's why when the truth comes out that Clare didn't kill Ryan at all, and instead she used her mother's desperation against her, it's so heartbreaking. Who was the dead body, and why is it important? Greg Kaminsky's entry in the movie was something truly unexpected. Trust me, as an audience member, even I believed Clare's plea for help. But when his identity was revealed and the whole story came out, my jaw was on the floor. So here's the thing. After Clare threw out half a kilo of drugs unknowingly, Ryan and Clare were in a lot of trouble. Jackie, the dealer, was out on their trail constantly. So to pay him back, they decided they were going to start selling drugs. To stretch the limited supply out, they mixed it with fentanyl. Greg Kaminsky was a drug user, and Ryan was his seller. As most of you know, fentanyl-laced drugs are extremely dangerous, and Greg Kaminsky accidentally overdosed on the laced drugs. Panic immediately set in because now they were going to jail. That's when Clare decided to pull in her mother. She hoodwinked Kate into disposing the body by claiming it was actually Ryan, whom she accidentally killed in a heated altercation. Greg's death was a result of a drug operation gone wrong. Instead of doing the right thing, Clare sets the story as a defense thing and uses her mom's guilt against her. This deception is brutal and raw, and shows something very crucial in the story that was right in front of Kate the whole time, but she was blind to it. The incident proved just how dangerously Clare was dependent on drugs and how well she knew her mother's tolerance. The fact that Clare didn't even hesitate once to manipulate Kate into becoming an accessory to murder is truly something. Was Clare's deception a big twist? When you watch the movie carefully, you can actually see that Clare being a liar was always right in our faces. Even when Clare was explaining what had gone down between her and Ryan, she said that she pushed Ryan and his head broke open. Then when Kate tries to calm her down, saying this was self-defense, Clare realizes that her plan will not work, and she changes the story into her breaking Ryan's head open with a rock. But in reality, we know what actually went down. By the time we see all the details laid out in front of us, from the text to the actual story and identity of the dead body, the twist is not how she lied. The twist is the realization of how badly she had been using her mother. Clare played the role of a wounded child looking for redemption, beautifully knowing her mother would fall for it, and go further than ever before if she meant she could keep Clare close to her. The layers of deception, from the body being Ryan's to Clare being caught covering for Ryan, then the body actually being Greg's, while Clare is spamming her mother's phone, trying to emotionally guilt Kate, are a gut punch. Clare is shaping her own truth as long as it serves the purpose, and the more Kate tries to save Clare, the deeper she goes and the more complicit she becomes. We don't know for sure why Clare is behaving the way she is. Is she scared? Is she manipulative? Or is she simply broken? Who knows? The most terrifying part about this ordeal is not the lies Clare comes up with. It's how convincingly she says them, giving us a little nugget of information every once in a while, keeping both Kate and us guessing. What does the barn scene reveal about Kate? Instead of a violent showdown between Jackie and Kate, Echo Valley gives us something else. The barn ends up becoming the cocoon that transforms Kate from a vulnerable mother into a cunning strategist. Jackie Lyman, played by Donald Gleason, showed up at Kate's barn asking for more money before he could dip. Since he knew everything about what went down, he knew he had the upper hand right before Jackie's entry, though a crucial moment had happened. The moment Kate learned the truth about everything that had taken place, she went to Les, her friend played by Fiona Shaw, and went out to relax. While on that vacation, she learned about an old man who tried to burn down his barn to get the insurance payout. So when Jackie started threatening her about Greg's body, Kate offered to burn down her farm and give him the money. He demanded that she burn down the barn and horses so that she could get a $150,000 insurance payout. And with how Kate behaves, she appears completely cornered. She never acts violently towards him, never lashes out. Instead, she calmly deals with the problem at hand. Kate and Les go together to Marsh Creek and recover Greg's body. They stash it in the barn freezer and set their plans in motion. Jackie stayed to watch Kate light the haystacks on fire with the flare. However, right as Jackie pulls out from the driveway, Kate drops a piece of flare on the ground because she knows that the fire investigation team will find it. Then she and Les brought Greg's body from the freezer and put it in the room Jackie was staying in, which used to also be Patty's own room. This room was right above the barn, so it too soon caught on fire. They luckily managed to get all the horses out before the barn fell down on them, saving the animals. On the surface, these moves seem unconnected, but then we learn that Kate has been playing the long game. The day after Jackie showed up at her doorstep, Kate had texted one of her clients, Emma Hanway, to come and pick up something from the barn. Jackie was pissed, thinking Emma was one of those clients who didn't care about cancellations. He went and confronted her as politely as a sleazeball like him could, claiming he was the new farmhand. What he thought was an accidental visit was intentional, and Kate used Emma's name in the police interrogation to prove that Jackie was working for her. She had already sent Jackie money before, so that added more credibility to her story of Jackie being her worker, who must have set the fire. As if that wasn't enough, previously, Jackie was the one who bought the road flares from the store on the highway, so his face showed up in the CCTV footage of the store, incriminating him completely. So after everything, it seems like Jackie was the arsonist and the murderer who did all this to protect himself, not Kate. And with just this one motion, we see Kate finally letting go of Patty. As with the barn, Patty's memorabilia also burned to ashes. The barn, which used to be a sanctuary of grief and quiet routine, became the central point of Kate's revenge, and she flipped the situation, asserting her dominance and finally finding her identity as a person after losing Patty. Did Kate commit any murder? Physically, Kate never killed anyone. She simply orchestrated this whole new scene that gave her the clean slate she needed. She staged the crime scene, implicated Jackie completely, the police found Greg's charred remains and linked them back to Jackie, and thanks to all the circumstantial evidence, the man who was extorting Kate ended up getting locked up, while Kate walked away unscathed, legally untouchable. Kate engineered a crime from scratch, which begs the question, is she morally innocent? The answer to that is very complicated, because we could say that she's protecting herself, reinventing herself, letting go of Patty once and for all, and gaining the upper hand with Jackie. But when you look at the story from an outsider's perspective, she's a criminal who laid out her trap perfectly. This forces viewers to understand and question the nature of parenting, moral compromise, and justice. Kate weaponized institutional trust, grief, and secrecy to deliver her own justice. And that leaves us wondering, isn't her justice a crime in its own right? What was Clare's role in the final cover-up? It was a bit jarring to see the distinct lack of Sydney Sweeney on screen for the last 45 minutes. Les and Kate had to work together to get the body out, place it in the right place, and cover up the truth. But at the same time, by not being part of the plan directly, Clare's role is still pretty important. Right after she'd manipulated her mother into disposing of the body, Clare became more passive than ever. She's present, but a lot quieter. She was someone who knew the storm had passed, but she refused to acknowledge the damage she had caused. Her silence as her mother meticulously framed Jackie is telling. Clare could have turned herself in. She could have set the record straight. She could have warned Jackie what was happening. Instead of doing any of that, Clare sat back and watched as her mother took the burden of cleaning up the mess. This shift in her character is very obvious, because in the first act, she's all nerves and jitters. She's screaming, spinning lies, and panicking at all times. But the moment Kate took over the control, Clare quieted down and slowly took her exit. As you watch the mobile and see Clare fade into the background, you have to wonder if Clare truly understands the magnitude of what her mother has done for her, or if she's gone too far in her own trauma and self-preservation to see things clearly. The film doesn't give us a clear answer. In the final scenes, we see Kate rebuilding her barn and her life from scratch, and listening to a voicemail left by Patty after she went and got Clare back. In that voicemail, Clare apologizes to Kate for being a mess-up, and soon after, Clare shows up at Kate's doorstep. Until now, every time Clare showed up, Kate looked happy, worried, and excited. However, this time around, she has a neutral expression on her face. Kate looks like a new woman, whereas Clare looks just the same. In the end, you have to wonder if Kate forgives Clare, and they both fall back into the same old pattern, or if this time is the last time. In my opinion, I think Kate has probably learned that Clare is not as nice as she thought until now, and hopefully, this time around, she won't let Clare come into her life again. Marvelous verdict. Echo Valley doesn't end with the right kind of conclusion. Instead, it leaves the ending very much open. The story of maternal sacrifice, twisted by deception, is truly breathtaking to watch. Julianne Moore's stoic resilience and Sydney Sweeney's chaotic vulnerability clash against one another, and yet play off of each other, grounding the film in its emotional core. The love in this movie is messy, loyalty is dangerous, and in order to survive, you have to make compromises, which might just go against everything you stand for as a whole. By the end of this movie, no one's innocent, but everyone is human, and the echo of everything remaining unsaid lingers as we finish the movie. Let us know what you guys think about this movie in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone!
What's going on? What did you do?
Mom, I'm in trouble!
You have a lot.